please have mercy on the sisters. They tell us that church guys don't decide. Church made Christian men.
Yeah. But if you're saying good morning every morning, good night, or how is your lunch going? What's your lunch plan? And when you're sending some command, you're like, do you do this for every other sister in the church, or it's this particular one?
So what happens now? Let's say you're done. Like, I'm done working on myself. And now there are like 3, 4, 5 ladies.
3 women who are confused.
Been talking to, they are confused, and they're all saying, no, it's just my friend. He's working on himself. He's not ready for that.
Yeah.
Now you're ready, and there's all these people here. Yes. What happens to them?
Whatever you're looking to find in a woman, Christ already gives it to you in his new identity that he calls you his own. So you do not need the affirmation of the females for you to feel like you're a man.
Welcome back to the Mending Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while. We've been off for so long, Dennis.
Adult 101. That is manhood.
Responsibilities. But we thank God that we are here again. It's always an honor to talk about masculinity and doing, manhood the God way. There's so much out there, and to have the opportunity to sit here in front of cameras and talk about a biblical way. It's an honor that God can use us as vessels in that regard. And thank you so much, those who support and like this content. We really appreciate. Please continue to like and share so that the algorithm really puts this on all these timelines of the men, and this information can reach as far as it can. Yes, but today we want to talk about something that is a serious issue in the church circles, especially among the young people, the youth. They tell us that church guys don't decide. Church made Christian men. The ladies are reporting you. And that's why we are here. This was too serious. We needed to come back and convene with the elders and say, let's address this issue. They are saying church guys don't decide. The young men are in every DM. They are all over the place. There are many ladies who are having hope on this one gentleman.
Exciting.
And so today we want to talk about some of the things that are leading to this and what we're observing as people who are in these spaces that could help a young man there who is always saying, hey, for me, they just misunderstand me. And yet there could be things that he does that contribute to some of these things. And one of the areas I would like us to start is there's a tendency for us to feel like as Christian men especially, God has put on us a weight of responsibility naturally. You want to be handy, you want to be helpful. And many times that can be taken in the wrong way by ladies. You're always the one who is carrying an extra chair when there's no chair for a lady. You're always the one checking in the morning and in the evening. How are you doing? How is this situation and the other? And many, many, many times that is taken as you making moves. Is there a way as a Christian guy, not that they shouldn't, be nice and love on sisters, but can it be done in a way that's more clear, careful, that I'm not trying to, I don't know. What do you think? It's a very tricky one.
So the first one is, as a man, as a Christian guy, are you being consistent with all this help that you're giving to the opposite sex? Or you only give it to a particular type of girl who is either curvy or who is light-skinned and attractive? Because it looks like you only tend to give this kind of help to this type of girls. The other ones who have been there, they're like your brothers, they're like your sisters.
Are your bros?
Yes, I think that's the first place to start
Christian men.
That you claim that you're doing this to help sisters who are in need of your help. But you're selective in how you're giving that help. You tend to give them to a particular type of a sister, Christian sister, and without others. Secondly, what are your motives? I think if your motives for helping these ladies are pure, and realize from their responses that they are thinking about it in more terms than others, you want to step back and say, but I hope I'm not misunderstood. I think you want to clarify and say, this is this and not that. But if you're saying good morning every morning, good night, or how is your lunch going? What's your lunch plan? And then you're sending some command. You're like, do you do this for every other sister in the church, or it's this particular one? And if she begins to catch feelings out of it, why do you feel like, I'm surprised? Oh my, I'm just being kind. But you began this. So I think it's us being forced to think deeply about our actions and how they make those around us feel. And if I realize I'm being misunderstood, I have to stop there and then. Versus making it continue.
As if your hands are tied. I have no choice. I just have to be nice.
Have to be nice. No. I think you're being irresponsible. That's the first one. Two, I think sometimes, to be honest, we feel some kind of way about it. Like we feel like we are the hero in that story, that you want to be there for this girl. You picked her up when she was stranded. You paid for her room. You're the one who understands her. So that sort of desire to be the hero in her story drives you to do all these things. And yet we are Christian men here. Christ is the real hero. It's okay not to be able to help sometimes when you actually can't. But also, if you're to help and you realize it's growing into more than just a Christian friendship, into romance, but you're not ready, then also say it. So the woman is free. Also, the other thing about this is sometimes you're the person that she comes to when she's in trouble with her guy. You're the one that sort of answers, her problems.
They report to you.
You get.
Now he has done this.
Yes. So are you a counselor? Should you be counseling her? Are you her pastor? And if you are, is there another woman you can refer her to who can help in that way? Because again, what happens here is, because she's opening up so much about her life, even if you didn't mean to, the glue begins to attach. Entanglement, as we call it these days, begins to attach. And before you know it, you're in all kinds of funny things. They are fuzzy, they're not clear. You don't know whether you're dating or not dating, but also how can you date someone else's girlfriend? As in, just be clear as a Christian man. Ephesians 4 is what came to mind, really. If Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15, basically it talks about how, he has given us apostles and prophets and evangelists. Then down there in verse 15, he says, verse 14, that we no longer be children tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine. Rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ. So those two things have to be kept in balance. Truth and love. Were the things that you were doing in the name of love being undergirded by truth? In other words, did you actually intend to say that? And then truth, what is the truth? What are you struggling with? Do you just enjoy the attention of being in girls' lives? They're like, this guy is the hero. But truthfully speaking, Christ is the true hero. Let them not be confused about that. So I think that's the first place to begin from. Are we clear? Are we speaking the truth in love? Or we are saying we are loving but masking the truth about what's going on in our hearts? We are using girls to give us some sort of validation as Christian guys who are kind and nice and what. But at the same time, we are hustling and struggling with these feelings on the inside. Like, I really want to tell her, but I don't know. Sometimes the friendship can be very nice, and then when you say that you love her, the thing collapses. So I think we need guidance of the community. We need other brothers to come and tell us, I think you're being too close to this girl. It's not safe anymore. I think you need to be clear with this girl. I think this girl thinks of you more than just what you think. So maybe have a conversation to clarify what is going on. Otherwise, that thing can go on forever.
And I think if we're being honest, as a guy, you can tell when you are going beyond that mark of just being nice and helpful. I don't think there's any guy who is there and is doing these things so consistently and he's, just shocked. What made her think? For sure. I think we can trace and say
Yes.
that maybe this and this and this could have caused her to think this way.
Yes.
So we need to evaluate and be wiser.
Yes.
You can't keep doing the same thing that is making different people say the same thing.
Yes.
That means there has to be a way you change your approach in how you're trying to be helpful. It's a very good thing to be helpful. We are
Yes.
called to
Yes.
love. But part of loving is
Yes.
also protecting the other person from
Yes.
thinking you have intentions other than
And yet
being
you know that
helpful.
you're both single.
You're both single, or it could even be that they're in that relation and they're reporting to you. And because you're getting fond of them, you even begin to wish it fails.
It feels the other side that you can.
Can't you see other nice guys like, me, you who is listening, and you think you have the answers, but you cannot have the answers. It will actually break a man if they think they can be the solution.
Yes.
So the best we can do is to constantly point these people to the one who can satisfy their souls. We are only conduits and carriers of a message
Yes.
that is going to be helpful to the sisters, but we don't do it in a way that is going to, compromise our relationship or friendship in any manner. The moment you notice it, just go cold turkey.
Yeah,
I mean, cut those ties.
Also, the importance of community is very called for again, because honestly, there has to be an older person somewhere, or even your friend who says, "There's always you guys are getting fond of each other.
You have your secret
to
words
pursue
where you
this?"
only understand.
Yes.
For
Do
sure.
you intend to take this thing further? Or if you don't, please step away, because we know this lady and she's in that state where she's looking actively for a guy to date her. But you're in that position and you're not saying anything. You're just being so-called kind. If you don't intend to pursue her, then please don't. Like step away from her life, or give her a safe distance for her to think carefully about her life. Versus you're always available, you'd never give her a chance to think about her life, and she begins to have all these feelings for you. Then you claim, I didn't know. How did it happen? That's me, a Christian brother. I think you knew what you're doing, like you're saying, Paul. But also the input of people who are watching.
The community. They will tell you the truth.
And I think for me, once they say it, that bit where you say, but church always can squeeze single guys into dating, but they are not. You are putting yourself in a position where you're saying, I want to date on one hand. On the other hand, you're saying, I am still thinking about it. So if you are, I think, pick a side. If you're thinking about it, please step away, observe a good distance, versus being overly available to a woman's life. She is ready, she's warming up to you, then you ghost, you disappear. And also, is this the kind of life that you want to carry on as a believer? Like, is this the pattern you want to carry on consistently, to be known as someone who is non-committal, who is exciting different girls here and there, but never saying anything seriously to them? And then lastly, is the last issue, LUST. In terms of, yes, there is a lust of sexuality where you just want to have sex with this person, but there is a lust of lasting for the female attention, where you're always the service provider, the one who brings solutions, the ones. So there is that kind of thing that the gospel has to heal. That look here, whatever you're looking to find in a woman, Christ already gives it to you in his new identity that he calls you his own. So you do not need the affirmation of the females for you to feel like you're a man. I think you need to love Jesus more, know him more, walk in his perfect purpose and direction, that you don't need now to use women to feel affirmed as a man. You get it? Because that's also the other thing, that some people, in the name of being kind, are actually living out their flesh in that way. They are feasting on, they are feeding their flesh with affirmation. You are the man, you're the guy. But now that guy, where would I be without you? And I think girls also love it at some point. Especially girls who are not sanctified. That bit of, where would I be without you? Like they know how to say the right words to get you to help them, or to do this type of thing where they are manipulating you. So I don't think being a believer and being someone who manipulates emotions should be in the same sentence. I think there should be a clarity of truth and love to observe boundaries which are necessary, but also to conquer your own lust on the inside. What am I really doing here? What am I pursuing?
You don't try to build an identity around, this thing of they're confiding in me. I'm the guy who has the solution. And you're feeding on it and it's energizing you. So you want that to keep going and going.
Yes.
So it means the gospel has to also affect your heart, not just the heart of the person that you're trying to help. So that Christ is sufficient even for you. And you're not trying to seek that out for people to say, so that when they're saying, girls have this thing where they say, I don't like guys who do this and this. Guys who do like this are weak. So you're like, I'm not in that category.
Yes,
for me, I'm
a
a gentleman. I'm all these things and that kind of thing. So, may God help us. Maybe the other thing that I'd like to talk about in this regard is there are guys who get stuck in that trap of being all over the place and sending mixed signals.
Yes.
Because they don't feel ready to commit. So they say, I'm still working on myself. They are part of community, like you've said, and people ask them, hey, this person, like, that's just a friend. Me, I honestly, I can't take someone's daughter anywhere right now. There are still things I need to deal with myself. Yes. And yet everything they are doing is communicating that I'm pursuing this person, which is a very, very dangerous place to be and very misleading for the ladies. I can't be saying that I'm working on myself. It is actually very selfish.
Yes.
But then the other person who could probably also be saying I'm working on myself is being confused by how close you are getting.
Yes.
And I also don't think there is any such thing as working on yourself. Because I think it's also mythical because it's the Holy Spirit that is working in us.
I mean, just to push back on that, they may be indeed working on some things that they are aware of, maybe with their pastors and what. If you are working on yourself, what are the markers of that progress? Because you see, you can't just blank and say, I'm working on myself. Okay, what are you working on? Number one. Is it your sexuality? Is it how you spend money? Is it a gambling habit? Is it an addiction that you're working through? What are the steps you are taking that show progress? So that's we say, okay, it's been 6 months and he hasn't gone to the bar yet. So there is progress. Or you could say, it's been a whole 2 years now I've been clean from alcohol. Praise the Lord. We thank God for that. And therefore, what's the next step? I know people who have been working on themselves since 2018 up to now. We like life has gone on. 2018, I first had that thing from me in 2018. Up to now,
you're working on yourself. But in the meantime, you're leading.
You're leading people on. You're flirting. You're throwing all these nice comments on girls' pictures on IG. You are pressing that love button on their statuses and responding. I think again. It shouldn't be bad to work on yourself, but define what you're working on and what the marks of progress are as far as that area is concerned. But if that's not there, then you're using that to just avoid responsibility. And again, what makes a man is responsibility, really. That we own up to the things God has called us to own up to. That's why David is more of a man than Goliath in that story, that he stands upon that ground and he says, in the name of the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied, I come at you. You get, there are other men there, but David at 17 years was more of a man than all of them put together, because he stood up and owned fully what was his in terms of how he understood God and how he understood warfare. You see. So in that same way, the man who says, I'm working on myself needs to be clear on what he's working on and who is marking that progress. Are they pastors in your life? Are there older Christians who are helping you ask these questions? Are there people who are saying, I think now you have become called? And again, even the whole thing of mentoring, but by the way, at times someone says, so-and-so is my mentor, but they wait for the mentor to reach out to them. versus you actively seeking out and saying, I need to have this conversation with you. Because again, by the time you ask someone to be your mentor, they are probably like they're older, they have responsibility, they have all kinds of things they're working through. So for you to expect that mentor of yours will be looking for you to give for you to give him your updates. No, I think it's you to say, please help me, Makpo, help me walk in this area. I'll be calling you every Friday or maybe weekly to give you an update on what happened this week. I think that sounds more like progress than working on myself
there,
1 year, 2 years.
You're all over the place, but you don't want to commit because for you, you're working on yourself. And I think also it's very hypocritical. If you're working on yourself, then leave the other people out of it.
Yes.
Because the fact that you're working on yourself does not change how the heart works.
Yes,
like the heart is going to get fond
yes.
of the people that you spend time with and over communicate with. Yeah. So as you're enjoying that being fond of someone and constantly communicating with them and sending them the mixed signals while working on yourself and not being willing to commit.
Yes.
So what happens now? Let's say you're done. Like, I'm done working on myself. And now there are like 3, 4, 5 ladies.
3 women who
you've been talking to. They are confused. And they're all saying, no, it's just my friend.
Yes.
He's working on himself. He's not ready for that.
Yes.
Now you're ready. And there's all these people here.
Yes.
What happens to them? What happens? Are you going to pick from them? Or now you're ready, you're going to go outside of these ones you've been talking to? New. It's so complicated and selfish in that way. So, like you've said, it's not bad to work on yourself. Let it have a clear framework. Let it have a clear way of determining that I am making progress, and there is no need for you to confuse other people while working on yourself, because you're not ready.
Please.
So what are you doing if you're not ready? Keep working on yourself. Leave these things out of confusing ladies here and there. What would be your final message to a young man who is in that place? Maybe they're enjoying that being available and what it feels like for ladies to count on them, and maybe they even genuinely feel that there's a work God is doing through them in reaching some of these young ladies. How can you encourage a young man practically, to do this in love and not distort, that gift in a way that hurts the sisters in the Lord? How can we do this in being nice and being loving, without causing the mixed signals, or even probably cutting them off in case they are brewing, such that you protect the sister, in the Lord?
If you read the book of Revelation, the first category of guys who will be cast in hell, in the lake of fire, is the cowardly. I think for me that's very telling. It is cowardly for you to want to eat your cake and have it at the same time. I think sometimes the single man struggle is in there that I have only one shot at this, but I want to give it to the best person in my circles.
So let me have options.
Let me keep my options open so that somehow I can pretend to commit to one, but keeping my other 5 options open. I think that's cowardice. I think it's manly of you to take faith and trust in Christ and choose one person and say, I want to commit to this lady because of A, B, C, D. And of course, not doing it alone. But even after, as you think about committing to this one person, you bring in community, you bring in trusted Christian voices, you bring in, and they help you think clearly. Because again, once you're in love, there's a way it tends to blur some things, you see. So you want to ask for the opinion of those you've come to look up to in the faith and say, I'm thinking about this lady. Should I pursue her? Even before you pursue her. But this whole idea of you're texting love emojis to Sandra, love emojis to Sheila, love as in, what are you doing? What are you doing? I think the gospel makes our hearts free from living for the approval and the affirmation of the opposite sex. Once we are freed in the gospel, we are now freed to love without trying to protect ourselves from the risks of love. Like, what if I love her and then she disappoints? So let me keep these other 5 open. No. Our love does not come from being loved back by the opposite sex. It comes from Christ, who pours it into our hearts daily in Romans 5. So if Christ is pouring into your heart, then you can take that risk and say, I'm going to love on this girl and I'm going to walk with her towards marriage. I am dating for marriage. Then pray for the rest of the girls. I think trust that this friend of yours who is a lady will find a husband one day who will honor the Lord in honoring her body and everything she stands for. But don't feel like you have to be the rescuer of every single girl out there. I am the one who comes to... There's only one rescuer. He's called Jesus, you know. Let Jesus deal with them. For you, pick on one and pray for the rest. Let us not waste. Because again, pray. We are men tomorrow will have daughters.
Yeah.
What kinds of sons are we going to raise for our daughters? If that's our lifestyle behind us.
Yeah.
You know how life plays out? The things you are doing to your parents are now the things your son is doing to you. You're like, but this thing looks very familiar. What the hell is... So you realize it is... So I think for the sake of a positive, godly legacy, in terms of how we are thinking about the next generation as men, can we lay right forward the right foundations and say, when I was dating your mother, I was very clear with her. I did not use people's girls and daughters. No, I was clear to her. I told her this, and once she committed to me as well, we went forward. Now this thing of hi, hello, hey, banners, where you mean building? Hey, it is just ridiculous, right?
I know, and maybe even for those who are in committed relationships or married men.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that for them they're not prone to that.
Yes.
It's very easy, even for us who are in committed relationships and marriages, to give off mixed signals.
Yeah.
You know, I know, especially like for married men, there's an attractiveness about a married man that's inexplicable.
Yes.
You know, there is some aura you carry, you know, that if you're not careful, you can give off the wrong signal. And because in the world it's a normal thing, someone can easily take it as, oh, you do that. Okay. You know, let's go ahead. You know, even when you're a Christian, So personally, one of the things that helps me a lot is to talk about my wife in conversations. You know, you're helping someone, but you give an example where your wife is involved. You know, by the other day, my wife, and it's not just for the other person, but even for yourself.
To remind yourself of what's
You're constantly reminding yourself that I'm committed to someone. If you're a guy even who is dating someone, you know, like, hey, it's like how we did it with my girlfriend. You know, you throw it there. You know, you remind the other person that you are part of something that you made a commitment to, and you're in a covenant between you, that person, and even God is involved in the picture. And maybe the other thing is the communication. The more we spend time talking to people, we easily can get fond of them. That's why you hear people having work wives, work husbands. You find that someone actually spends more time with even workmates than they do their partner. And so the heart will grow fond very easily. So you have to have meaningful communication. I know someone who said whenever they had a secretary come into their office, because they would always dress up a certain way, and when they would come to communicate something, you know, close the door behind them, and they're starting to communicate something. He's like, what are we discussing? I need to take the minutes. You know, we need to take minutes for this conversation to kind of keep it seeming like professional and you know, outside of this, you know, we are not going to have small talk that will lead to something. So the more we communicate with people of the opposite sex, we are prone to send certain signals because for them, their hearts easily attach emotionally. You know, for you might be in your pragmatic mind thinking that fixing I'm only issues. Being, you know, fixing issues, just this and I'm out. But the more you communicate, this lady is feeling a certain way. So we must be careful about how we communicate, the volume of communication we are giving and time.
Yes.
And then constantly talking about our partners for those who are in committed relationships, so that it reminds ourselves and even the people that we talk to. Yeah. I don't know if you have anything in that regard.
Just on that, I don't know how many emojis I've had to delete when I'm making comments to the opposite sex or saying hi. And my question is, if my wife, Prudence, was to look at this message, would she understand it as a healthy, normal Christian communication to the opposite sex? Or if I was to find this on her phone, when she's talking to somebody else, sending these types of emojis, would I understand that as a normal thing? So I think anything that you don't think your wife would approve of if she was there is something that should not be done. Don't pursue it. As in, don't go. If it's a comment on a girl's post about her picture or her dress, make sure if you're actually banning and have to say it, it's something you would say to your wife first. If it's something that your wife would not be uncomfortable with. Because there's a way in which, if you're already married, if you are indeed a Christian man who is married, why are you overly interested in someone else's pictures? You get it. What happened to your own wives? You know? And I don't think there's a way. Cultivating that practice over time creates intimacy for your wife. I think it undermines it. By the time you get home, you feel absolutely nothing for your wife.
You've already given of yourself. You've already given small bits all over the place.
So I think guarding the heart, guarding your words, and bring back that commitment. I mean, we are wearing, we're wedding bands for the sake of Christ. We are wearing wedding bands, but somehow we forget all that in that moment, and you have to just step back. Even you as a man, are you aware of your attractions? What type of girl are you normally tied to, like attracted to, or like naturally speaking? If there's that type of girl in your circles, are you aware that spending this much time with her will actually lead into something? Because again, every man has their test of women. If this secretary of yours fits that test, but you're being careless, there are no boundaries, there are no safeties, obviously it will happen. So be aware, but above all, the gospel again. Christ frees our hearts from finding approval, affirmation, comfort in anything else outside him. And all these things are given to us by him. I think the more we spend more time with him, is the more we are able to, first of all, accept our condition. We are sinners, desperately sinful and wicked.
Yes.
And so when someone confronts some evil behavior in us, we're not quick to defend and say, hey, I think you're being too much. I think we are quick to say, you know what? I'm already a sinner. That is the gospel that actually we are desperately sinful, yet God in his love has made a way for us to be reconciled to him. And it daily pours out love into us and reminds us that we are his children. And we don't need to find satisfaction and meaning anywhere outside him. And I think if you don't bring back the gospel daily to your own heart, to those insecurities, to those places where you need healing and you're looking to use the women to fit in those spaces, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah.
Oh, may God really help our hearts. We don't talk about these things because we are the masters of them. It's the reminders to ourselves as well. We are preaching to our own souls. And so we encourage you guys out there. Please have mercy on the sisters. Love these sisters enough not to confuse them with, different signals when you have no intentions in that regard. Let's be committed to the word of God. Let's be satisfied in Christ. Let's pray for them to meet him. You are not the hero in any way. And I hope this episode has blessed you. Please, again, share, like, subscribe. We need this to go out there to as many men. We need to have a generation of men that fear the Lord and do masculinity and manhood his way. So God bless you and see you in the next episode.